All right, hello and welcome to another episode of the Within Range podcast with your boys Dom Juan and Jared Suter. The ear god is not with us, but always with us in spirit, Jared.
Always.
All right. So big show today.
Huge.
For those of you out here in Arizona, especially in the hip hop scene, if you haven't heard of this band at this point, you're obviously not in the scene.
I don't know what you're doing, where you're at.
I mean, he's been doing the biggest and the coldest interviews basically since the pandemic. We're talking 300 plus episodes, platform of the year from AZ Trending. And right now he's doing something the state has never seen and is putting on the biggest hip hop contest we've ever seen.
It's massive, dude. That last one we're at was crazy, man. That was a wild event.
It was crazy, bro. My whole life's kind of changed since then.
Oh yeah,
I bet. Yeah.
So it's been a whirlwind of bunch of different scenarios and things that have happened at the event, since the event, and now I'm like sucked into the whole thing, and yeah, here I am.
The man whose original AIM screen name was Ice Player for Show. We are sitting here with the one, the only Matty Ice is in the building today.
That's crazy,
Go,
bro.
man. Matty, thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining
That's
us,
crazy
Matty.
that you guys got that. It's true too. Ice Player for sure. That's true.
Ice Play for Show is great. That's like, I guess an AIM is perfect for it. That would be a good like old school Xbox 360 gamer tag too. Getting no scope headshotted on Halo with that.
Facts.
Man.
It's always been ice.
Yeah.
Always been, dude. I had to put the
Always
long
ice.
sleeve on. We both had to put the long sleeve on today. It was gonna get cold in here, dude.
The coldest interviews. So, Matty, listen, we want to get into what's going on tonight. We want to just take it back a little bit and work our way up, if that's cool.
Yep, you guys are great. So whatever you want to get into, I'm ready.
Dope, man. So first things first, most people know at this point you're from the Chicago area.
Yep.
But from what I understand, you originally started out doing shows and you performed with like Twista and stuff back in the day, right?
So I was promoting shows.
Okay.
So I was promoting shows in Chicago. I actually just got back I landed at 1 a.m. from Chicago today, and we're here. So I started throwing hip hop events in Chicago. I did Machine Gun Kelly, Twista, a lot of local artists.
Wow.
And I always had a passion for rap music and hip hop music. I've always been listening to it since a kid, and I think that's what really brought me in the industry. It was weird. I always would go to Barnes and Nobles and I would buy books too when I was younger about like how to become a music manager or the music industry or like open a record label. I never did any of it, but it was always in like my head of like, oh, well, I just wanted to know about it. Or like it's something about me, something about it kept drawing me. So the music industry, hip hop in general, the culture I've always kind of been, very in tune with.
That's cool, man. I've noticed that in my own career too, where it's like I've done things like I took a patent bar exam to be like a patent agent to help people file patents. And like I don't do that in my day-to-day life, but there's times where just knowing another part of like a same industry and then you go into something completely different, you already have the knowledge of all that and it helps you operate at a completely different level in what you're actually doing too. Yep. So I think that's cool.
Yeah. Wow. And then I think kind of what started for you is when you were originally with Bang Energy. Mm-hmm. I mean, listen, they were even giving you some guap to do. They were paying you for that shit. So if you could just tell for those who aren't aware of that Bang Energy.
So I started the platform, I would say about 4 years ago, like you said, right before the pandemic. And immediately, I've always had a business sense to me and a good marketing sense, I felt like. And I was like, you know what? I want to get a sponsor. I interviewed Seth Bishop, who lived in Arizona. He's in California now. He's like a singer, and he was signed to Bang Energy, and he's like, "Yo, let's put you on Bang Energy," and I'm like, let's do it. So I want a sponsor. I want to be able to put my bangs in the table when I'm interviewing, and shout out the brand and all that. Yeah. So I hit up Bang. Bang gave me a contract, like 7 episodes in, gave me a contract. They paid me like $300-$400 a month. They were sending me. It was cool. It was cool.
That's awesome.
It was great. And I work out. They were giving me product and powders and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So it was cool. I got all that for free. I loved Bang. I don't drink them anymore, but not that I don't like them. I don't drink them anymore. So they were sending me all that stuff. It was cool. But then as I kept building my platform, I was really interviewing hip hop artists, rappers, and I was like, you know what, man? I see Ross every day posting about Bel Air and Black Bottle Boys, and I'm like, Bel Air is hip hop, and I see how Ross moves, and he moves how I move, and I'm like, I want to be a part of that.
That's the move.
I want to be a part of that. So I reached out to Ross, and the Bel Air relationship started from that point on.
I mean, you wrote him a DM, like a detailed DM, and then
bro, no one believes this, but it's the honest to God truth. I didn't know Rick Ross from a can of paint. I didn't know any of his team from a can of paint. I knew his music. I was a diehard fan of Rick Ross. He's like, he's one of my favorite rappers, right?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
So I saw him every day posting about this Bel Air, like, let's get on. I'm like, okay. and I didn't have a big following then. And I DM'd him a long message. I'm like, this is what I'm doing with Bang. This is what I want to do with Bel Air. This is what I'm going to do. Duh, 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 duh. He wrote me back, and the relationship started right then and there. And I worked my ass off with Bel Air. I mean, I was doing photo shoots every month. I mean, if you go to my page right now, even to this day, 4 years later, everything you'll see, there'll be something with Bel Air, Vion, Maybach Music. I mean, out of 90% of my posts, I make sure of that because that's what it is. That's my family. We're locked in. I not only have I work with Bel Air with Ross. I've interviewed the owner of Bel Air and Sovereign Brands,
We've seen that
Brett
episode.
Barish.
Yep.
So like it's definitely deep, the relationship now for sure.
Yeah. I gotta commend you, man, because I think I'm sitting here thinking like, we're doing our show, and if we were 7 episodes in and we ended up with a sponsorship, for you to like have that, run with it, and then have the strength and confidence in yourself, I guess be like, that's a good thing, but it's not quite right for my brand, and you like reached out and started to go a different direction. I feel like a lot of people would get a little bit of success early on and just try and like cling to that with everything and start to mold their platform and their vision around what keeps that in play for them. And you're like, no, I think it's going in a different direction, and I need to find a partner that's more in line with that. It's like, that's 100% the right move, but that takes a lot of courage.
Maturity too, bro.
So when Ross gave the green light, Bang like dropped me and they stopped sending me product, which was I understood that.
Yeah,
and
it's business.
Yeah, I got that. And like Ross kind of stayed quiet for a month or two too. And I was like, okay, well, he gave me the green light. I got it right here from his Instagram. I'm not stopping until he continues to see me. And then like 2 months later, he followed me on the gram. That was a big moment. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like, it was a big moment for me.
Yeah,
Bro,
it's
Rose,
crazy. You get signed, and then he's like, "No, you ain't getting the follow just yet. You got to earn that, man." That's
dope.
cool though.
I was like, yo, this is really real. And now his manager is my manager, Jeter K, who owns Solid Ground Empire, and he's Maybach executive. He's my manager, Ross's road manager.
Oh wow, okay.
And I've interviewed almost everybody that's associated with Maybach, from DJ Sam Sneak, which is Ross's only DJ since he started. Trop Da Vinci, who's engineered both the songs that Ross just dropped with Meek Mill that just came out.
Those are bangers.
And I'm tight with everybody on the team, bro, and it's a really good team over there. And I wouldn't want it any other way. And I've had companies that have approached me, like liquor companies and different companies that have approached me that are really trying to work with me. And the thing is like, I'm so loyal to what I'm doing, and for me, I won't even entertain it. Even if it's like crazy money, I'm not even entertaining, because my relationship with Rose, Maybach, and Bel Air is way more valuable to what money can be to me. What, if somebody offered me, a check or something like that.
Yeah. And I think I've heard you say too in an interview, like, you're only as good to Ross based on how hard you work.
Yeah,
and I feel like since you've been doing the podcast and what you've done with these shows, I mean, you are literally putting that work. I'm assuming you're getting some pats on the back from the team. I mean, it's got to be, right?
One would hope.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's like this, I'm blessed to be able to go to a club and party with Ross. I'm blessed to be able to go to Ross's house and go to the car show and have a VIP experience with
awesome.
that.
Yeah,
be around his team, and
that's a blessing.
I'm blessed to be around the family, bro, the Maybach family, and in a genuine way. So that's really what it is, man. It's not regular shit. It's not like people can just roll up to Ross and smoke a blunt with him and go to the club and drink and party and it's all good. But he's just a regular person. Yeah. And I've really just figured out a way to maneuver myself around the team. And again, like you said, you're only as good to Ross as how hard you work.
Yeah.
If I stop doing what I'm doing, I'm not best friends with Ross, I'm not his family member. He has thousands of people above me, you know what I'm saying? So that he has to worry about. Yeah. That are working hard and are loyal to what he's doing.
Yeah.
I just got to ask, man, just following Ross and knowing, all about him, what was it like to go to the promised land?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like, how many people
gates
can
opened.
how many people can say they've actually been there?
Was his cow there? Was it a bison?
Yeah,
Was
like
it
a
a bison or
farm?
it was a
Yeah.
bison? I think recently, right?
Yeah, he got it all. So we my boy G Shit, who's an artist, he signed to
I know G
Ethica. He also has Maybach ties. He's working with Maybach as well. We went to the car show together, and my boy Jay Pierce as well. But my boy G Shit, we went to the car show together, and we rolled up to Ross's house the day before the show. We had to take a golf cart all the way up to his front door. Ross is getting a massage on his balcony,
Get out of here on his
Dude.
balcony.
sipping some Bel Air.
That's gay.
He got some high tolerance in his hand. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my gosh, dude.
Yeah, he was
I'm
getting
just picturing that right now. That's
Yeah,
It's
that's a
legitimately
beautiful
exactly
thing.
what was
dude.
going on. He
Yeah.
had a high tolerance blunt. He had a glass of champagne. He was getting massaged right in his balcony. Right when you pull up, you see the 2 double R's. And then to the right, when you pull in, he has the buffaloes. He has the horses. He has mad dogs. He has everything. He has the biggest residential pool in the country. The Promised Land is truly an estate.
Yeah.
It's truly an estate.
I mean, they film movies there.
Yeah, they do. They film movies there. It's truly an estate, and to see what he's done, based off rap, and that's the foundation, based off rap music. Then he got into all these business ventures, which he's an incredible businessman. But to see what he's built from the ground up, it's incredible. And again, the Promised Land is just one estate he has.
Yeah.
He has mansions and houses everywhere, bro. But it's incredible. And I got to go in the house, and it was incredible. Like it's very motivating. But at the same point, it's Rick Ross. Like it's Rick Ross.
Yeah.
You expect it.
Yeah,
Sure,
you do
for
expect it at this point. I watched
biggest.
that. Yeah, the biggest, dude.
The biggest house I've ever seen.
I watched the I think it was the Earn Your Leisure episode where they went there and interviewed him, and he was just his story about how he turned that into a profitable thing, like business for him. It was cost him a bunch. I think he said his electric bill was like $11,000 a month or something like that.
Guaranteed, it has to be. It has to be.
10 racks plus on your
It
electricity.
It has to be, for sure.
I could totally see it. But yeah, so he was talking about, he's like, that was coming out of his pocket when he first started. And between, he rented it out for the movie and doing the car show and things like that. He's like, he literally lives in this estate, biggest residential pool in the country. And I think he's turning a profit from it.
What's crazy, bro, is I went to the car show, obviously, but you go to the car show and it's at his house. That's so dope. Like you want to go to you want to go get an experience, you can go right to his house.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I think that's so dope. And the car show, 57 Freddy and him do it every year now. And
It's huge, right? I mean, the cops tried to shut it down. It was such a big deal at first,
year,
right?
The cops tried to shut it down. The second year, they were giving him praise, because Ross fixed everything that the cops had issues with. And the second year, they were like, "This is perfect." He didn't have one issue. He really didn't have one issue in 2 years.
One thing I just, again, I know I don't want to beat the Rick Ross dead
No,
horse.
please.
But there was a moment that I've heard you talk about that when I first heard it, I was trying to picture myself being in that moment. I'm like, I couldn't even imagine. But it was New Year's at a club in Vegas. And Ross said something that was pretty pivotal, right? I think you approached him and you were like, man, I'm going to go harder. This is what it's like. And tell us, what moment I'm talking about?
That, for sure. So it was not this New Year's, it was the New Year's before. And I was in Vegas. And I went up to Ross. It was New Year's, so he had his family there and, a lot of more important people than me.
Oh, nice.
But I went up to him and I shook his hand and I'm like, yo, Ross, I wanted to thank you so much for being being supportive of this platform, sharing my stuff and everything. And he looked me dead set in my eyes, shook my hand. He's like, good, because if you stop, it's over with. That was it. And he turned his back to me. And that was it. And there was no, it wasn't like being, yo, bro, that was true statement too. And that was a true statement. But what's crazy is that blew a fire under me, one. And I knew okay, I'm not, that's the boss. Yeah. So that blew a fire under me. And then honestly, bro, after that, I just worked way harder. And I never got that vibe from him again. But I know that's what it is still, though. Don't get me wrong. I can't just stop working.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that is exactly what happened. But the relationship's always grown.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a moment where it's like, okay,
dude,
it's crazy.
I mean, because I was trying to picture, because some people in that moment could fold or take the Matty Ice approach and just excel with it, and that's what you did.
Yeah, because I already have his attention. I'm already I'm shaking your hand. You know who I
talking
am.
to Rick Ross,
Yeah,
yeah.
You know who I am. So it's for me, I get it. I understand who I'm messing with. I understand that this is a privilege to have you looking at my platform. I get that.
Yeah.
And I see that's the problem that a lot of people don't understand is a lot of people think that they're bigger than what they are, or think that
we know that.
think that Bel Air has to be paying me thousands of dollars, or
Yeah.
I have to be getting hundreds of bottles for free every month.
No.
See, I know how to network and I know how to build my own brand off my own hard work, and I don't need nobody else to carry me either. Ross messes with me because I work really hard. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And that's just a fact. I work really hard for what I'm doing. And that's what it is. It's give and take. And a lot of these people hit me up they take a picture with Bel Air. Well, let me get a sponsorship now. Bro, do you know how hard I worked for that shit? And that's the other thing that annoys me.
Let me get a sponsorship.
People think they can take a picture with a bottle and now they're sponsored. It's
they're influencers, dude.
You gotta put
exactly.
You gotta put in that work.
Yeah.
You gotta put in that work. And I think Ross, if you put in that work, Ross won't leave you hanging. See, it doesn't matter who you are. If he sees you putting in that work and you really are doing it and you're consistent, he ain't gonna leave you hanging. I've never seen him do it.
Wow.
It's to me, that could be, obviously it motivated you, but he's basically saying you're on the right track. Keep doing what you're doing. Just don't ease up, And it's just it's
simple. That makes sense.
It is. It makes it, because I think part of it is people, well, what do I do? What's my next move? Should I do this? Should I do that? How should I do it? And for you, it's well, no, he obviously likes what I'm doing enough to give me a contract, and I'm just going to keep pushing in that direction and just go even harder on it. Love that.
He's the catalyst to everything that's going on. For me, it's I can't even. It's a blessing. It's a blessing just to be able to associate with him, and again, his team as well. I'm very close with a lot of the guys on the team. Jeter's my manager. Sam Sneak he's very close with a lot of artists, and he's worked with a ton of artists. And Sam's been Ross's DJ since literally day one.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And
Early Maybach days, right?
Day one, yeah.
Wow.
Day one,
Wow.
yeah.
Port of Miami days.
Day one, yeah. He was the first
Crazy.
person to ever play Ross's music in Miami.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
So he's a legend to Maybach.
I mean, it's a short list with people with that much of artists with that much longevity at the level that he's
And
at.
he
too.
has
Ross's
hits.
level?
Yeah,
Yeah.
And
Like
he has
MC Hammer
hits.
dropped a song in the 2000s later. That's not the same thing. Like he's consistent. I mean, he did the Suicide Boys soundtrack even like not that long ago.
And what's crazy is Hustling came out at like 34.
Right. So let's talk about that for a minute, because I love that you said that, because I feel like, especially with this younger generation, I'm in my 30s. I think all of us in this room are. And so when you're in your 20s, like you're trying to figure out what you want to do, but I feel like some, people in that age range now might think like, oh, well, if I haven't made it in my 20s, I'm not going to make it all. Rick Ross is a perfect example of that's not the case.
Yep, 34 years old. I think it was 34 or 35, right around there. He dropped Hustling. That's his biggest track, I would say. And that obviously helped him a lot.
Never went backwards after
No,
that.
and that's one of the biggest club songs ever.
Still to this day.
Yeah.
Did the Cat Williams bit on that?
Yeah,
the Cat
classic.
Williams was, you could do anything to that song.
Yeah. Yep. Man. Well, speaking of the podcast, I mean, that's kind of, I would say what sparked your career, what took it to the next level. So we can just spend some time on that. I mean, bro, some of the list of names that you've come across on that platform alone. Before we kind of get into who's who and who you've interviewed, the studio that you have, I mean, I know you used to have one, I think in Scottsdale somewhere.
I closed it, Matty Ice Studios. I had it for the first 2.5 years, 3 years of the show.
That's a long time. You were renting that. I mean, that's incredible, dude.
Yeah, we were, it was about the size of this room. We were branding it strictly for the Matty Ice show. We had a couple podcasts that come in there, but I had a Bel Air mural with Ross and all this stuff. And it's crazy to go back and watch. I haven't had that place now in about 7-8 months.
Okay.
December I closed it. It's almost been a year, man. It's crazy.
They still got the mural up there?
No, they repainted it for sure. Yeah, I would think so. They definitely repainted it. And the mural's gone. What a legendary place though that I started that I didn't like. I'll never forget that. Like, I'll never forget that first year and a half there, bro. Like, I did like 200 interviews that first year.
Holy shit! Hey, you were getting your money's worth.
It was. I was doing 3 a week, and like, I think at that point, like the buzz of the Matty Ice show was really buzzing hard. Like, it was new here to Arizona, and like it was bringing an industry feel here. And like, I'm new, and I'm also a person that doesn't. I'm not gonna just go out to the clubs to meet everybody. I'm very like, you're not gonna see me out. So that also had a little bit more mystery to it. Where like, I don't tap into the whole Arizona thing, even though I do, but I don't put myself there to where
You're
I
not limiting.
Yeah. No, and I don't want to be. I don't do this for Arizona. My show's out of Arizona. I'm appreciative that I came up out of Arizona. But I'm 27 years in Chicago, Illinois, and that will always be my home. And this isn't my home. This is where I've landed. So I don't like to say I'm an Arizona platform. I'm based out of Arizona, and that could change too. I'm not dedicated to Arizona.
You've done interviews in like different states.
Yeah, bro. I have a home studio in California and Vegas too.
Did a bunch of Vegas.
Yeah, Vegas is like Vegas and Cali are my Vegas more, but Cali I have a great studio, but Vegas too. I go to Vegas a lot and run interviews, bro. Like, dude, 21. I was going to a hotel room and I was renting out I would bring my team with me to the hotel.
Yeah.
Like Resort World.
Yeah.
Or Win, and I have 2 chairs and I bring my camera team and lights. Boom, and we're doing interviews and I'd schedule 10 in 2 days. 5 one day, 5 one day. I'd have artists fly in and we do the interviews right out of the room. I mean, I have like probably 100 interviews like that on YouTube.
Dude,
And listen, people, for those of you who don't know the Wynn and Resorts World, like these aren't some run of the mill.
That ain't no middle of the mall, dude.
No, but I'm scheduling 10 interviews, making it dope, and like and I was doing that for a while. I've slowed down a lot on the interviews right now. I'm still doing them.
Man, 10 dudes coming in and out of a hotel room in a day, man. You the front desk call it all, dude?
No, I mean,
Like, you got some girls in there?
We got scared of like a little bit of that. Well, we did it 5 and 5.
Oh, okay,
So
good.
2
Yeah,
days,
five's major. I was say
5 one
10
day.
guys coming in and out starts to.
Right.
Someone notices that even in a busy Vegas.
We were moving around a little bit. We were cool how we did it.
That's awesome.
We were definitely
Nice.
like moving a little bit differently, but
Yeah.
we had to make it happen.
Yeah.
And I did that numerous times, which is it's super fun because you're meeting people that you normally wouldn't interview there. So I would do that, and like I said, I'm slowing down a little bit now. I'm gonna pick back up once we open up another studio, and now this whole rap arena thing, which we'll get into, is kind of like a whole new. It's taken over my life.
I gotta ask me, for anyone that's thinking about taking the next step and whatever they're doing and whatever that next step looks like, what was that feeling like? So 2.5 years ago, you've obviously come a long way from there. Did you have money saved up to pay for that studio? Did you have a plan in place and you were like, I think this is going to work, and you just kind of took a bet on yourself? Because that's, I mean, actually going and renting out something or signing a lease or whatever that looked like, that's a big step, and a lot of people would be afraid to do that. What gave you the courage to do it? How did you know you were ready?
So I think
did you know you were ready?
I think I spent like $10,000 on equipment, which isn't, it is, but the equipment holds money, it holds your value.
Facts.
So the mics are worth money and all that still. And I just, let's call it what it is. I mean, I charge to get on my show majority. So,
The biggest platform.
well, and the thing is there's other bigger platforms. This is how I look at it. I have an engineer. I pay. I have a
So do we.
I have a team that edits my videos.
Yep.
I drop really dope marketing for every interview. Then you get the performance and the Instagram reels and all that stuff. And then you're getting the people that I'm showing you, the interview and the performance to.
Yep.
It got to the point, I didn't start off charging actually. It got to the point where I was getting hit up so much to do interviews that I was like, you know what? Now I'm just going to charge because the demand's there.
Yeah.
And I can pick and choose which ones I want to do for free.
Yeah.
Like I'm still interviewing people and I still invite people
Yeah.
on. And I don't charge some people.
Yeah, yeah.
But if 50 people hit me up and I only want to do 5 of them, well, this is what it is. I'll do it, and I will give you a fire interview, and I'll give you everything that you get. You'll get all that.
It's a product. You have a
Right,
product
exactly.
that you're giving them.
So that's the thing is like the supply was very high, the demand was very high, so I was able to go into the studio knowing I'm going to make my money. And
That's awesome.
we're not hitting artists over the head, but we're really at all but $500 to $1,000 depending on what the situation is, and so I was able to always make my bills through. Let's call it what it is. I'm truly living off what I'm doing.
That's yeah. I mean, that's kind of what I'm getting at. Like you made the initial investment, and even yes, you're charging people and stuff, but that's still like a business plan at a certain point.
for
You know,
sure.
like it's not actual, it's not money in your hand, and like you had to bet on yourself. So
And it's
props
funny
for
to
that,
me.
man.
It's funny to me the hip hop industry. Oh, we're not paying for an interview. Okay.
Then don't.
And
Then don't get on.
and that's cool. Like, and it's also more like like if you come at me like that, why would I want to give you a dope interview too?
exactly.
Like, oh, I'm supposed to sit here and like, go crazy for you, waste my hour of time and do all that. So that's a situation too. But again, I do interviews. I will have people on the show. I do invite people on all the time, so it works both ways.
Yeah.
I think it's cool that you do a mixture, because to me, if you just had people on for free that you liked or whatever it was, whatever the qualifications were, to outsiders, that's going to seem like you're gatekeeping to an extent, and they're going to feel a certain type of way about that. But the fact that if you charge everyone, maybe it feels a little inauthentic sometimes over time if that's the only way you do it. But when you mix it like that, you're really leaving it both. You're leaving both lanes open. It's like, hey, if you're dope, you could earn your way on here.
Facts.
Front of the line pass. But it's also open to if you pay the fee.
I feel like it's not authentic if I were to be reaching out to people, like, hey, do you want me to interview you? I'm charging. That's not authentic. That's like me. That's my beef.
Sales
That's
department.
a money.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
But if you're hitting me up and you're like, yo, bro, I got a team I pay. Like, I got my own time, but let's work together and let's make some content together. Let's do that. And a lot of times if you're hitting me up, it's because my platform has more eyes than what you're getting right now. Not that that's just what it is. There's artists that have a bigger platform than me.
Yeah.
Plenty of them.
Yeah.
So it's just like a give and take too.
Correct.
Like if I have on a big artist, I'm not going to charge him probably because we're going to work together and he's going to promote my show.
Yep.
So it's just a give and take, man.
Yeah.
And artists, they charge each other for features left and right.
Oh, of course they
yeah,
do.
You know
exactly.
what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's like, even the biggest artists do.
Yeah, 100%.
So-
No, it's part of it. I think the sort of hybrid model you got, I think that makes a lot of sense.
Facts.
Yeah. So the podcast. So from what I understand, you actually specifically started out with athletes.
Yeah,
That was
bro.
kind of your bread and butter in the beginning, right?
Started off interviewing Byron Murphy from the Cardinals. He's now on the Vikings. Yep.
Yep.
Christian Kirk, who's now on the Jaguars, Arizona. I had Marquette King on my show.
Jalen Strong,
Jalen Strong.
Arizona State, baby. Let's
Jalen
go.
Strong's he's a great person too.
Yeah.
Jalen, you be dope on your show. Jalen Strong,
We're open to that.
Antonio Brown twice.
I did see AB.
Okay,
I
so
didn't know
let's
twice.
stop there for a sec. Let's stop
Yes.
there. This was pre-concussion, Antonio, or was this?
This was actually the
because
second.
Antonio went.
I have a second interview I never dropped with him.
Ooh, you got AB in the vault, dude?
It's
Permanently?
yes. So the second interview I never dropped with him. The first interview I dropped. I'm not an Antonio Brown fan anymore.
Yeah,
Talk about it?
There's some stuff I could see that.
Any rumor that is going on about him in a negative way, I would believe.
Yeah,
Wow.
Let's put it that way.
Wow.
On a positive note for AB, if we can leave it
Great wide receiver.
if we can leave it on a positive note, the first time I ever met Antonio, my first interview with Antonio, great. Charisma's great. He is a super likable person when you first meet him. Yeah. He's a super likable person. He's funny as hell. I actually think he's a good dad, which is crazy that he didn't pay his child support. But I have seen him around his kids, and I do think he's a good dad. I don't know, like, the situation within his household.
Yeah.
But as far as him with his kids, I think his kids love him, and I think he's a good dad.
They're separate things. They're different.
And
That's AB.
I got to know, just from a fan perspective, you've interviewed a lot of people. Was there at least one, maybe two people that maybe you've been surprised to interview, and or when you interviewed them you were taken back? Anybody in particular? Is there anyone that just kind of stood out?
Well,
some of these names are crazy.
I think Samara Sin's first freestyle ever was insane on my show. Okay. Legendary. Chris Koch's freestyle on my show, that stood out. That was crazy. Jalen Strong's interview was awesome.
Okay.
Jalen he started crying in the interview. That was a first.
Whoa. I didn't see.
I
gotta see that.
He was very passionate about gun violence, and he lost some people to gun violence.
Wow.
And he's passionate about it, and he didn't want to see. It was at a time when we had a lot of gun violence, and we still do in this country. But he was passionate about it. Jalen's a good-hearted person, so that was coming from his heart. When we interviewed Swanee, that went viral, the hairstylist for Kyler Murray. I had 15 million views on one video on TikTok. To this day, I get like 20 comments a day on it. That's 40,000 comments.
40,000.
Wow.
2.1 million likes on one video on TikTok. It went viral as fuck.
You're like that. You're like that kid that just set the record for the most comment replies. He had like 2.something million on it.
Yeah. Did he really?
Yeah, he's crazy.
I saw that. Actually, I saw that.
Yeah.
She went in the interview and she cut Kyler Murray's hair, and she's like, and I didn't sign an NDA, Matty, so I'm gonna say whatever I want about Kyler. And I was just like, oh no.
Oh, here we go.
Right.
His KD is under a 1 on Call of Duty. No,
I didn't know what I was gonna get. I thought I was gonna get something absolutely insane, and this was going on ESPN. And then she's like, Kyler said that he wanted her to wear pants instead of wearing like shorts to her house to cut his hair. She would go to his house and cut his hair. And Kyler said, next time you come over, I want you to wear pants and not booty shorts or like shorts. And her situation was like, it's 120 degrees in the summertime. Like, I'm just getting done with the gym. You're blowing me up to come to your house to do your hair. I'm not going home to change. So that was like the controversy. And whatever the case might be, I didn't really think it was that big of a deal either.
He's just trying to not get Bob Kraft.
I didn't think she did anything wrong. And that's where I think the controversy went in. And that's why I actually posted it, because it was an argument. Should she have worn pants or should she not?
Yeah. And people want to comment on that shit.
And the craziest part was, why I think it even went more viral, is because Deshaun Watson got his case that week. So everybody was in the comments like, Deshaun would never, So, like, I was getting a bunch of that, like, and that was actually that pumped
that caused controversy in itself.
It pumped the whole video more, like, because of the timing of it all. So yeah,
that's funny. That's crazy. Yeah, I could see it, especially given that climate, not wanting like a woman with booty shorts rolling up to your gates with a massage table.
Facts,
like,
bro.
You'd care about the optics of that
for sure. Facts. A lot of surprising moments. A lot of different things. Like I said, the freestyles, Samaras and Kochs were definitely legendary. Legendary. It's crazy to see where we are now.
Keeping it with Arizona sports, is it true you've been to 75 plus Arizona Cardinal games?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Your family has season tickets, as you said, or?
Yeah, so my grandparents have had season tickets. Not anymore. They just gave up their tickets. They're like 95 now. They just gave them up. They've had season tickets since the Cardinals were at ASU.
Wow. Yeah, they split the stadium.
Yeah, so like I would go to 6 games a year.
That's awesome.
And
it's like pretty much every home game.
Yeah, and not including play if there was a playoff, I think there was a couple, and then
there's a couple
preseason games. But like we would just go with my grandparents, like it was a thing I did with them, and they're older now, so they can't get to the stadium as like they were able to before, so they don't have the tickets anymore. But yeah, I've been to a ton of Cardinal games. I grew up a Bears fan. Left the Bears completely when Jay Cutler got signed. I'm a gambler. I sports bet.
You're speaking our language here.
I'm aware of it. I'm aware.
But I football bet pretty seriously. That's why I'm in Vegas a lot. So I do it pretty serious.
Would you consider yourself a capper?
I would consider myself a pro football bettor.
Pro football bettor. Okay, I like it.
Yeah,
I love
for sure. Based off of like what I've done.
Yeah.
And you guys will. I don't know if you followed me last year. You'll see. But if you follow me enough, you'll see. I've won 6 out of the last 7 Super Bowls future betting.
I was gonna say, true or false? 30 bands off of a Super Bowl bet for the Chiefs.
That was this year. And I won 30 bands another year, and then I won 55,000 on the Buccaneers when they played the Chiefs. I bet on the Bucks. And what I do is my method in my madness is I pick my Super Bowl winner right around Thanksgiving time. So what I'll do is I'll look at the odds, and let's just say the Chiefs are 8-1 or 7-1. Cool, it's Thanksgiving. In another few weeks, the playoffs will be here, and they'll be down to 3 or 4-1. It's like a stock.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bet that there's going to be no injuries, and I believe in this team. Yep. So I'm going to put 5,000 on them, and they're 8-1. And now I'm going to get 40,000. Now they get to the playoffs, they get a bye week. Now I'm watching the Chiefs win the Super Bowl for 40 grand. So for me, it's like you're watching a stock, and the biggest thing is like you want to make sure that injuries are a big problem. Mm-hmm. So injuries in football are a big problem. You know, Mahomes goes down, you're fucked.
Kelsey
goes down, you're in big trouble. So like those are the big things that you want to believe in your team. And I don't like to future bet now because of injuries, right? Mm-hmm. People be like, well, just bet on the Chiefs right now. But I'm like, you know what, bro? Kelsey can go down. Mahomes can go down. It's not a smart move to invest your money in something now when there's so many variables. As we get closer to the playoffs starting, I trust myself more. And I trust that the team is going to be a little bit more, they're going to play their players a little bit easier than they normally would, or give them a little bit less of a workload. So for me, I bet around Thanksgiving time, and I've won 6 out of my last 7.
That's insane.
That's crazy.
The only one I lost was the Tom Brady Eagles.
Oh, okay.
I remember that. 2017, I want to say that was.
I lost that one. That was like my last loss, I think.
Man.
I guess I already know the answer to this. If you're a consistent, high performing sports bettor, straights or parlays? Straights or parlays though?
No,
straights guy?
I don't do parlays.
Yeah, I figured. Okay.
That's the way to go.
It's all straights.
Anybody that makes a parlay, even a 2-teamer.
It's a lot of things.
2 teams hard as it is.
I think I've made 1 parlay this year, and it was a 2-teamer. I won it, but 1 parlay this year. I don't do parlays. Maybe 1 a year, and it's like a 2-teamer.
Yeah.
If I'm really gonna bet on the game at night, and I really believe in the game earlier, I'll do it. And that's a very rare situation.
Yeah.
And it has to be a plus and a minus together, and like where the value is good for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're better off taking a straight bet for the day.
Yep.
Like look at football, pick your bet. If you lose it, you lose it. You move on to the next day.
Yep.
If you win it, you win it. You're not gonna win every game. It's impossible, and you can't win every game.
Man, you taking pictures with Tech Nine and the boys? How did that whole thing come about?
So Mercedes is manager of a group called Unconventional Kings out here. That's High Definition and Low Key the Wizard, and they're doing a lot of work with Tech Nine. And Mercedes is like a manager of Richie Evans. She's very plugged within the culture and the scene, and a lot of different celebrities. And she's great at what she does. I'm a great networker, and she's great at what she does. And they called me, and they're like. High Def called me and Mercedes and like, we want you to come to Kansas City. One, they know I'm a Chiefs fan. They're like, we want to show you around the city. They grew up there. They both grew up there, and it was more like they just wanted to show me where they grew up. They wanted to take me out to barbecue because I've never been to Kansas City. Like Gates Barbecue.
Nice. Okay.
And they're like, we're going to Strange Line Music, which is a whole incredible. I've never seen someone like that before.
Is it like the Tyler Perry Studios in Atlanta? Like that
I haven't been there,
you know?
But dude, it's literally acres and acres and acres of different buildings, of warehouses. And I'm talking, he owns it all. Everything's branded with the Strange Music logo. Everywhere you go in the bathroom, to like everywhere you go, you see the Strange logo. The rocks outside, they all have it.
The rocks.
That's crazy.
And then I met
That's luxury.
the owner. I'm blanking on his name because I just met him, of Strange Music. His last name's O'Gwyn.
We'll dub it in later.
Yeah. So I met the owner of Strange Music and Tech, and we had a whole tour of the entire place, and it was incredible. Tech's one of the most genuine people I've ever got to even talk to. I did a small interview with him.
Yeah.
But just to be around him, didn't even feel like I was around anybody like an A-lister status like that.
I was just gonna say, sitting here, it's like, if you know music, you know Tech Nine and you know what he is, but like
He has songs with Tupac and shit.
Yeah, man. But like you don't hear about him as much today, or like especially like a younger hip hop fan. Like there's obviously ballin' and all that stuff is like a huge part of the culture and the image, and he's not out there doing it. And people might be like, oh yeah, who the hell is Tech Nine? He's some old blah blah blah. Like then you find out he has warehouses and acres and acres. And
dude, this dude. Let me say this. So I met Travis O'Gwyn, who's the part owner of Strange Line Music with Tech. And we had a 3.5-hour tour of the whole facility. That's how long it took.
That's insane.
They make their own T-shirts there, so they do it in-house. They print their own stuff. When I tell you they have a warehouse of boxes of clothes, you'd think it would supply a Walmart, 5 Walmarts. So they have all of their warehouse with shirts, and they make their shirts there. Then they have their music studios. Then they have like a a studio setting where you can record music videos, and then they have the headquarters, and it's all on the same property.
Dude.
And it's just like, dude, this is, I've never seen, I mean, I was at Ross's estate and that was a house, but like, I've never seen someone like what Tech had over there. I really haven't.
Yeah, that's a compound.
I've
Like,
never seen something like that.
And this is this smack dab in the middle of Kansas City, or is it like an outskirts type of thing? Or?
This was maybe like, I would say 30 minutes from Kansas City, from MCI Airport.
Okay.
I don't know like my bearings of like,
Yeah.
But it
Close by.
was not too far, but it's in Kansas City.
Wow.
And like I said, Tech was one of the most genuine people I've just got to meet. He never gave you that like, oh, I'm Tech 9 or like I'm an A-lister type of a vibe. No, it was like, yo, bro, what's good? It was, it was super chill.
Just in his giant
It
studio.
was too chill, actually. It was like super chill, like the nicest dude.
Man.
The nicest dude.
That's awesome.
dude.
And then I gotta, thank them for the opportunity. Just to like, it was genuine. Just to go there. I wasn't really going there for anything too crazy. It was to go there to meet Tech, to link with them and kind of get a feel and network myself within the industry. And then I did an interview with High Def, Joey Cool, who signed to Tech 9's label.
Wow.
I interviewed Joey Cool out there. That's all dropping soon. And just got to network with them. And now like the Tech just started following me the other day. So it's like, genuine.
Dude,
so it's just like
crazy.
cool to like, just meet these people and be genuine with them. And, again, I'm building my resume too of people that I'm meeting and shaking hands with. That's what this business is, man.
Yes.
This business is like, they want to meet. Let's meet. You know what I'm saying? Let's meet. Let's network with each other. What can you do for me? What can I do for you? That's what this business is, man.
Yeah.
Even what we're doing right now.
Facts.
And
Facts.
I think one of the strongest thing I've noticed just in doing this and just in life in general is yes, you need to be, you have to have the right product, the right service at the right time and all that stuff. But that's just obvious. Like, yeah, of course it has to be the right thing. People do business with people they like.
Facts. For sure.
Like you're going to sit and work with this person and go through, if you do business with someone, you're going to go through some shit if it's a long
For
thing.
sure.
And it's just like, they don't want to be there doing that with someone that annoys them, that they don't trust, that they don't hate. I mean, it is being likable and showing like, I trust that guy. And even if they're like, I can't put my finger on it, I just like his vibe. Like that's huge.
It's very true.
Yeah.
Very true. It was a great time. And then they brought me to the stadium.
Yep.
Actually, the Chiefs were playing that night. We watched it at a local bar. It was cool. We got to see the stadium, and
that's awesome.
It was great. I mean, the barbecue. We went to Gates. Incredible.
Okay.
Gates is like a real famous barbecue place over there. I don't know if you heard of it.
I haven't.
Incredible, and I was there for a few days. So then I flew right to Chicago, and here